Hey guys, welcome back to the Shop Foreman Garage. Today we're looking at this 2015 Mazda 3. We were working on this thing right here, and it has the clutch is slipping. Yeah, it has manual transmission. Yeah, you don't see that very often anymore, but the clutch is slipping in this one. It only has, well, it's got 101,797 miles, so that's not bad. It's not bad at all. And we don't know for sure that it's the clutch disc. You know, is the clutch just wore out, or maybe the pressure plate is just, it just can't push it down anymore. You know, maybe it's getting weak. Either way, we're gonna replace the clutch. We're gonna replace everything that's needed to be replaced to do this job. And let's get into it. Let's look and see what parts we're going to replace, and let's see, you know, how we can get this transmission out and get this clutch out of here and get the thing taken off. Oh no. Look at this. Fancy schmancy, ain't it? It's got a spoiler on the back of the roof hooked to the deck lid. All sticking out really far. Fancy schmancy. And check out these wheels right here too. Yeah, and they got some sort of exhaust on the thing too. So, and that spoiler right there. So whenever I see that, you know, I mean, people, or they probably look at this, you know, there's people that look at it and they're like, man, look at that, that's cool. That is really cool, that little spoiler, the way that it sticks out like that, it looks really neat, you know. And even these wheels, you know, they think, oh man, those wheels are cool and stuff like that. And then there's other people that see stuff like this and they're like, are you kidding me? What is the purpose? What idiots? What are they doing? I mean, there's everybody has their own opinion of things, right? Whenever I see something like this, I smile. It makes me smile because it means that the owner of that vehicle loves that vehicle. They're putting more into it. They're putting more of themselves into it. And, you know, it takes effort, you know, and money, of course. But even if it's not going to make the vehicle perform any better, the way that it looks, you know, they love it, you know, so they like their vehicle. And people that do that are more likely to take care of their vehicle than people that don't do stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying, hey, you need to go add a bunch of accessories to your vehicle, but it's just whenever I see that, it just makes me smile. I just, you know, I know that they care, you know, at least. Let's get into this clutch. Okay, what do we got here? What are we gonna do? We have a Sky Active engine. It's kind of dirty under here for sure, but you know, it's to be expected. So what are we gonna do? The first thing we need to do is get the thing up in the air and drain all the fluids and stuff. It's a Mazda, so we need to drain the transmission fluid in order to pull the axles out and not have fluid go everywhere. So we're gonna have to drop the subframe. We're gonna have to remove the transmission to get to the clutch. So let's start by let's start draining the fluids. Draining the fluids first. Get the thing down while some of the fluids are draining. We're gonna have to drain the coolant too. Coolant. Why are we taking the coolant out? We're pulling the clutch off because we need to drop the engine down. We're gonna let the engine hang down kind of low. It's gonna pull on these hoses, these radiator hoses. So we need to get those off so that it doesn't pull the radiator, break the neck right there or something. you know, and then you got coolant, you know, going all over the place. So, you know, it's best to just drain it anyway. So we're gonna drain it. We're gonna disconnect this hose up here, and any hoses in the back that need to be taken off because the thing's gonna hang down like that. So let's get it up in the air. Let's start draining coolant and transmission fluid, and we'll let it down. And we'll start taking this stuff apart right here. Check this out. Whenever I turn the key on, come on, it ain't doing it now. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Got your background images. Let's start it up. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I don't know how they did that. If you know how that is done, run on down in the comments. Let me know. Oh yeah, and as for the exhaust on this thing, it doesn't sound bad. It's not raspy. It's not too loud. It sounds full. It sounds pretty good. Let's get this thing up in the air and look at that muffler. Check this out. This exhaust back here, these two little mufflers. Ultimate performance. Ultimate performance, performance, performance. So check it out. It's not much to it, but it sounds pretty good. Check it out. It actually sounds pretty good. I don't mind it at all. Some of them they're way too loud. Some of them are really raspy, you know, and vibrating and stuff. This one actually sounds really good. It gives the engine a low to mid tone, and makes it sound beefy when, you know, I mean, we know what it is, right? It makes the customer feel good, you know, the owner. So anyway, let's start draining these fluids. I don't have the customer's key. This have those splined, aftermarket splined lug nuts, and I'm looking through my set of keys what I have and see if something fits. Oh, yeah, that fits. But I mean, the end of this thing is kind of tuliped out, so worn out. Yeah, definitely. So let's see if this works. Get these wheels off. Subframes. Doesn't it seem like we are pulling subframes every week? Seemed like that, right? I mean, subframe after subframe. I actually, honestly, it's more than that. It's multiple subframes a week. It's just the way that it is nowadays. Subframe. This is, like I said before, typical Mazda subframe. Mazda Skyactiv subframe. Let's call it Skyactiv because these subframes came out when Skyactiv engines and stuff came out. and they're actually they're not that that heavy. Believe it or not, they're actually pretty light compared to other subframes. They're light, yeah, especially this front end. It's like nothing to it. And of course, we got to get these off. It's 3 10mm bolts, and this will stay with the bumper, and the subframe will come down. There's one big bolt there. There's that big bolt right there. This one right here. This one right here. Those all hold the subframe on. Of course, we need to get the tie rod ends, lower control arms off, all that stuff. So y'all see me do this many times. So let me just knock it out and get her done. What time is it? What time? It's that time. It is that time. Time to remove the intermediate shaft, the steering intermediate shaft, like we do every week here, every other day, every time we drop a subframe, remove the intermediate shaft. And so, like y'all know, I'm gonna put a mark on this thing from my eyeball, going straight up. That's kind of sideways. Anyway, yeah, that looks good enough. So you don't have to mark this. I just like to do it. This thing pretty much goes on only one way because it's Mazda. So, fix my light here. 12mm socket. If I can get the thing to cooperate with me. That's it. One bolt out of the way. And that black thing that's in the way here, that's the clutch pedal. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. A clutch pedal, clutch, manual transmission. It does not compute. Come on. Get up, get out of there. Okay, so that's it. Just kind of tuck this out of the way a little bit, just like that. Okay, let's move on. And just because I forgot to say it, make sure that you do not remove that intermediate shaft until after you've taken the lower control arms off and the outer tie rod ends, so the tie rod ends loose. Of course, what really matters is the tie rod ends, but a lot of times whenever you take the lower control arms off, you end up hitting that tie rod end and it could move it. So that's why you don't want to take the steering intermediate shaft off until after you've removed those, because then now there's a less chance that you're going to be knocking those tie rod ends around, which will turn the pinion in the steering gear, and you don't want that to happen, because if it turns, you know, completely one circle around, you won't know. Even though I put the mark on there and everything, it only goes on one way. You stick it on there and then turns out you're actually one revolution out on your steering wheel, and you got to turn the steering wheel to drive straight, and the next time you turn that direction, you could possibly break the clock spring, and then you got airbag lights on and none of the buttons on your steering wheel work and stuff like that. So anyway, that was long and winded explanation as to why you don't do that. Okay, so let's get that subframe down. Okay, this is where we are. We got the subframe out. Luckily, I'm not taking that exhaust down because you can see this bracket for sure would have to come out to get to that. So I'm not worried about that. But we are dropping this thing down, and it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be sketchy. It's gonna be sketchy. Well, let me show this to you first. I need to get these axles out. So you used to just knock these to get them off, but we're just gonna take the entire intermediate drive shaft off with this one. We're gonna take these nuts out, pull this clamp off, get this off this side too. And of course we got some bell housing bolts, so we're gonna get like all the bell housing bolts off except for one down here. Pull the starter off. What else? This is the slave cylinder. We need to get this wiring harness out. So probably take these 10mm bolts out, get this bracket off, and it'll go with the harness. Get all these connections and stuff off of here. Come on, get off of there. Yeah. But yeah, so we can get this harness off of here. I'm gonna get the slave cylinder off, and it's connected right here to this bracket. Has a hard line right above that, so we're just gonna let this thing hang down over here, and it'll be fine. Then we need to get it down, get the bell housing bolts off the top, and stuff like that. So why is it gonna be sketchy? Every time that I do a transmission, pull a transmission out, or to replace the transmission, replace the clutch, whatever, it's kind of sketchy, because what they want is for you to take a bunch of stuff off on top and put a bar going across and hold the engine up while you drop the transmission. But what I do is I let the entire engine and transmission come down, and it's held up by that one mount up on the top there. And as long as that mount's in good condition, from what I've seen, it'll hold it. But these, they come down way too far, too much leverage. That mount can't stand that. So what I end up doing is I put a block of wood right here so that it can pinch that wood in there, and it holds the thing up a little bit higher, so it's not coming down so much, because coming down so much is too much stress on that mount. And have they come apart before? Yeah, I've seen them come apart. And you can get them back together usually, but so you have to be really careful about where you put this block of wood and stuff, and how much stress you're actually putting on that mount. But that mount will hold it, and that's the way that I'm going to do it. So let me start pulling all this stuff off of here, and then we'll get it down, finish up taking everything up on top, and we'll let this thing hang down, and I'll see what happens. Let's look at this. What do we got? So the thing is angled down. You can see how much of a difference or distance between the transmission mount and where the transmission is. So that's as far as it's gone down. I have a block of wood sitting right here to help it. But most importantly, I got the screw jack sitting right here, and this is taking a lump of the weight right here. So with that holding on, it's secure. I do not trust that mount to hold this the entire time, so this thing right here is pretty much doing most of the holding. And I have one bolt, that's it, one bell housing bolt holding the thing on, and that is pretty much it. I got everything loose, so time to find the transmission jack. Let me get the transmission jack and stick it under here, take that one bolt out, and we'll drop the transmission out. All right, let's get this transmission jack in here somehow, maneuvering around all of the stuff on the floor here. I'm gonna try and angle this thing like the same angle that the transmission is. And a lot of times these manual transmissions, I need to grab a block of wood or two to help keep the thing stable. So I'm gonna stick it right there. I don't want to take too much pressure off of this thing that's holding it up. So I just want it to match. And then I need to find a couple blocks of wood. Okay, I got a couple blocks of wood under here to hopefully hold the thing stable. Take this one bolt out. And let's see what happens. I'm gonna try and let it, oops, nope, I don't want to do that. I need to keep pressure on it. Get something to pry this apart here. Yeah, okay, so this little cover thing is going to stay with the engine. So you get under that cover thing. This is not securing it very well. Come on, get off of there. What's holding it? Okay, we need to try and match the angle of the transmission to the angle of the engine. So hopefully it slides off better, and then hopefully we can get it on easier. The thing is coming back, so I need to angle it forward again like that. About like that. Let's see if it comes off. And of course the transmission jack is being held up by stuff on the floor. Come on, get off of there. Don't have a lot of room back here. As long as I can clear the flywheel and the clutch plate. Yeah, I mean, it's back enough. It should come down. Make sure nothing's hanging on to it, and there it is. Now, let me get this thing out of the way. Okay, here's our clutch release bearing. I'm gonna push on this lever right there. You can see how it moves. It has a pivot right here, so we're gonna have to pull this, or we're gonna clean all this stuff up. It's just got a bunch of clutch material all in here, and it's really nasty. And we're gonna replace this release bearing, or throwout bearing as people call it, and we're going to clean up this collar. It's got old grease mixed with clutch material, of course. So we're gonna clean all that stuff up. This is the clutch plate. Thing's still hot. So we need to get this out and we can look at it and see how worn the disc is. And way inside there is the pilot bearing, which we are going to be replacing. So let me get this clutch out and let's look at it. Okay, let's get these 10mm bolts out. Oops, of course, I lost another one. Thing's actually as high as I can reach. Oh, we got just tons of clutch material coming out of this. It's nasty. Don't breathe it. Don't breathe it. Okay, this. You see that pilot bearing inside there? We're going to be replacing that. This flywheel does not look bad at all. So we're just going to clean this up. The flywheel's fine. And let's look over here at what we got. So yeah, this clutch is pretty much gone. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, but the customer was still driving it, just kind of babying it around. So I mean, it was still working, just slipping. So it's pretty much used up. Now let's look at the new stuff. Okay, let's see what we got here. Here's the disc. Yeah, I mean, honestly, these grooves aren't very deep, you know. You got them on both sides compared to this one, but that's how much of a difference it really makes. So there's the disc. This should be the clutch plate. I figure out how to open this box. Yeah, and it's all covered in plastic. It's got oils and stuff on it that we need to clean off, just to keep the thing from rusting, you know, while it's sitting there on the shelf. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll just spray this thing off with brake clean. And yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that before I set this thing down on there, because I don't want to get any nastiness on this thing. And what else we got? This is the release bearing, throw out bearing, whatever you want to call it. Oh, look. So, yeah, there it is. It's ready to go. Set that aside, and then, of course, this, the last thing is the pilot bearing. So it's got a bunch of little needle bearings on the inside there. And on one side, it has a seal. You can see on this side, there's like a little seal in there, so that when the pilot end of the shaft goes in there, it seals this grease in from the shaft. So whenever you put it in, you want to put it in so this faces out or back. So we gotta take that out and put that one in, and I'll show you how we're gonna get this old pilot bearing out of there. So I got this all cleaned up, this flywheel. This is a pilot bearing remover, and it works pretty good. You know, it didn't work good, and then now it works good. So the whole idea is you stick these jaws inside there, and you tighten this down right here, and it opens these jaws up, and it grabs that bearing. And then as you tighten this one down, it pulls it. This collapses and it pulls it. Well, turns out just this wasn't enough. I ended up having to shove this shaft down in there. Just tighten this thing enough so it goes in between it and it actually holds it better. And it's always been like that. Ever since I bought this thing, I always needed that. And I know that's not the way it's supposed to be, but that's the way it works for me. So tighten this down, and it should start pulling that. Let's see if it pulls it. I got it tight enough. Yeah, it looks like it's coming. It's coming out. There it is. Okay. There it is right there. And now we can put the new one in. Okay. I got the new bearing right here. I got that seal. It's going to be on the outside. I'm set that right in here like this, and I'm going to knock it in. But what I'm going to do, well, that ain't good. Just dropping it on the floor and get a bunch of dirt in it and stuff. So there's a seal right there. I'm going to use the old bearing to knock it in. So I'm going to hold the old bearing over top of the new one. So I know that y'all probably can't see this. I'm just going to smack this. Yeah, just to get it started like that. And kind of smack it in a little bit. This is a brass hammer, so that it doesn't really do much damage, although I do not like smacking right on it like that, so I'm gonna use this. See if I can get it down a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit. It's not really easy to hold this thing. That definitely hurt. That's enough. That's in there enough. Just like that. Now I'm gonna get this off, clean all this up, and get the new bearing, new release bearing, collar bearing, throw out bearing, whatever you want to call it. There it is. That's just full of junk. So I'm gonna pull this off in a way that it doesn't. That's two springs that go around there. They go around this pivot. The pivot needs to be lubricated, and this all needs to be cleaned up. So I'll pull the thing off so that it doesn't mess up those springs, and then we'll clean all this up. Okay, I got all this cleaned up really good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take some grease, just a little bit of grease, and just, if y'all wanna know, this is wheel bearing grease. That's it, high temp wheel bearing grease. And I'm going to smear it around this collar right here a little bit, and I put it on this little pivot. This is the new bearing, release bearing, and this is the fork, and that's where that pivot rides right in there. So I'm going to put just like a little bit of grease going into there too. Also, I'll get a little bit more grease here. I'm going to put a little bit of grease right inside here. A little bit inside here. I'm gonna rub some inside here. And what that does is this thing slides onto here like that. So it just gives this movement right here, just a little bit of grease. And the way that this thing is made, it should just pop right on there. So I'm gonna stick this into, I have the boot over here for it. I'm gonna stick it down into that boot. Come on, get in there. And at the same time, I'm gonna push this release bearing. Still trying to get this thing into the boot here. Okay, push this release bearing on here, and then I'm just going to line this up. Hopefully do this without pushing the transmission off of the, oh, that did not work. Come on. Okay, try it again. This is definitely hurting yourself day for me. Okay, so it should just pop. If I can get this thing to pop over. It's supposed to just pop on. There it is. Just like that. And I'm going to take just a little bit of grease, and yeah, I'm going to stick it on these splines right here. Not very much, just a little bit. And why are we doing this? So because that clutch disc, it needs to be able to slide back and forth on this. In case it needs to slide back and forth. So we'll put just a little bit of lube, not very much, because we definitely don't want this splashing out and getting on the clutch itself. That would be bad. It's a friction material, it's a friction clutch, and you definitely want friction. So putting grease on it is going to stop the friction. So that's it. This is ready to go. Let's get the clutch disc and plate on. Okay, I got the clutch disc. I can grab the thing. Got the disc and the plate. I got them both here. And now, of course, one of my lights is starting to go out. And I'm just gonna shove this on here. Oh, like I'm in a disco or something with a stupid light. I'm just gonna kind of hand tighten these. I can keep from dropping them everywhere. Everything's falling. I got a couple more. Let's get like 6 of them. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't barely even reach this up here. Okay. So let me show you this. Okay, this is a clutch alignment tool. Yeah, so this is not a special Mazda tool or anything. It fits in this clutch. This says, what does it say? It says 03 Ford on it, USA, right there. You can see that. But this came from a clutch assembly that I did years ago, many years ago. Some assembly that came with the disc, the plate, it came with the throwout bearing, came with everything together, and this came in it, so you can align it. And it says Ford, it fits Mazda and Ford. You know, they were together on a lot of things. So this thing fits perfect, it's snug. The end of it fits perfect with that pilot bearing there. So and the splines fit perfect on the thing. It's going just right in there. So that's what you want. You want it to be able to go straight in all the way. So it aligns the clutch disc up so that whenever you put the transmission in, it's gonna line right up too. because if this ain't lined up, then it ain't ever gonna go in. So, and a lot of times if you don't have one of these, you could still do it. You just gotta look on the sides. Look in the sides like right here and see where the disc, how the disc on the inside lines up with the plate, and just compare that all the way around and make sure it's even all the way, and you can do it without it. But I mean, if you got it, I mean, use it, you know, it just makes everything easier. Let me tighten these down. I am going to torque these things down. I just snugged them down a little bit with a cordless, and you could do that. You could just tighten the things down. You know, just give them a couple of dug-a-dugs, just to make sure that they are all tight for sure. You can over tighten these and you can break them too, so just be careful. I'm going to torque them, and what that's going to do is it's going to tell me that they're all done evenly. 20 or 19 to 24 foot-pounds. I have this thing set to 20. I'm just making sure that they're all tight enough. Going kind of a star pattern. And I'm not really even turning them, they're already tight enough. So the main thing is that I don't want them to not be tight enough, because they can come out. If these things come out, yeah, you're in for a lot of pain and suffering. These things can do damage. They get caught up in this clutch, they start moving around, grind between the transmission and the flywheel, tear your flywheel up, tear up your starter. Yeah, they can cause all kinds of problems. So we want to pull this out, and this thing, it moves really easily. So that is perfect. So now let's get this transmission in here. check it out. This is 75W80 premium long life gear oil. So this is going into this drum right here. I can do without making a mess everywhere. Going into this drum, this is a collective of, well, it used to be collective of all the extra gear oil that the guys used to have, the 75W80. And as long as, you know, whatever oil you use, you put in there, then you use it, and then it'll always have oil in it. Apparently, some people have been using this and not replenishing the oil that goes in it. So now it's low. It used to stay around half full, half empty, whatever you want to call it. Oops. So I have 5 quarts of this stuff right here. It's not going to take 5 quarts to fill this transmission up. So that's extra oil in here for the next time that we need it. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But apparently people have not been replenishing the oil that they take out of it. So I'm gonna get this in here and let's put some fluid in this transmission. Okay, I am taking the fill plug out of the side right here, and I'm going to use the pump on this barrel. I'll stick that in there, and I'm just going to start pumping this oil in there. First, it's going to probably shoot a bunch of air into it. And then what it likes to do is it likes to build up pressure as I pump this in there. And when that happens, it likes to shoot out. So we'll see if it starts shooting out transmission fluid. Of course, this is gear oil. This is a manual transmission. So 75W80. So according to the thing, that's about 2 quarts, although I know it's not exactly 2 quarts because we're shooting air in there. Okay, now it's starting to shoot out. Let's see. So I'm gonna fill it till it dribbles out. I'm making sure that it's actually dribbling out and not just shooting pressure. Okay, yeah, there it goes. Oh, that was pressure. I'm gonna slowly overfill it, I guess. So I'm gonna, yeah, overfill it just so that I can see that it is dribbling out. Just trying not to make a mess. So that's it. When that's full, this is full. You can put this fill plug back on and get this cleaned up. Okay, now that we got the transmission in, what we need to do, and we don't have a whole lot left to go. I got to get this harness set up, get this coolant hose hooked up right here. Yeah, I need to squeeze that. And you know, get the battery in and all that stuff. But since we got the transmission in now, before we go any further, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna put my foot down on the clutch pedal, see how it feels. Yeah, it's good. I got pressure the whole way. It's going all the way down. It's not staying down, it's coming all the way up. So yeah, that's good. So now that we know that it's working right, we can get on to all the rest of this stuff. Okay, I got everything hooked up. Check, 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 check. Everything's good. I made a mess here, so that's a good sign, I guess. I don't know. Everything ends with a mess. Let's get this thing started, see if the thing even starts up. It should. I don't know why not. Hang on. It may go through the wall. In neutral. Brake on. Clutch down. That it. That's it. It's running. So I'm gonna let this thing run a while, get some heat in it, get it up to operating temperature, make sure that the cooling fan cycles and all that stuff, and then we'll take her out on the road, see how she performs, make sure that the clutch is not slipping anymore. So let me get through this, and we'll do that, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's take this thing out on the road, see how she performs. Let's get in here. Starts right up. We got the Matrix, Star Wars. Let's see, I still got this thing on heat. So it does go into gear. My foot on the clutch, let off the clutch. Yeah, it's taken off. Friction point seems good. All right, let's go. Okay, let's take this thing out on the road, see how she performs. I mean, it should be fast, right? Because, you know, it's got a spoiler on the back. So, speed parts. Yeah, it's definitely better, you know, for sure, because the before, if you got on it like that, it would just slip. It would start slipping. And the main thing is if you had it in, you know, steady speed on the highway, you know, 50, 60 miles an hour, say on the highway, and you had it in 5th or 6th gear, and you didn't downshift, you just put your foot all the way to the floor and the gas pedal, then it would start slipping. So like right here, I put my foot to the floor. It's not slipping at all. So that's pretty much it. It feels good. It feels really good. The friction point is, you know, perfect, and it doesn't have any kind of wobbling or anything in the pedal when I push on the pedal. So the flywheel was not warped, you know, and we kind of figured that. You rarely have to do anything with these flywheels. I mean, you would have to have a catastrophic event in order for the flywheel to go bad, to need something, you know, whenever you're replacing the clutch. I rarely ever see any kind of issues with the flywheel, and if the flywheel does need to be turned or anything like that because of any kind of warpage or anything, you might as well just replace it. Just put a new flywheel. It's not that big of a deal, but normally you don't have to. It will, you know, it works perfectly fine. Say foot to the floor, 2nd gear. Nope, no slipping. 3rd gear. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. So let's get back to the shop. So that is pretty much it for this one, guys. Clutch replacement. It's not that big of a deal. It, I mean, as you can see, it's not really that hard. You got to get the subframe down though. And it's probably the worst part of it. Although, you know, stabbing that stabbing that transmission back in, you know, that's always kind of an issue, trying to get that to go straight in. So you got to kind of work it a little bit. Even though we use the alignment tool, it's still, you had to get it just right and just at the right angle to push it in and get it to pop in. And no problem, we got it in there. And everything back together, the thing runs fine. Clutch is not slipping at all, so that's a good thing. And that's pretty much how you do it. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you in the next one.